अब मैं चाहूंगा हमारे आदरणीय श्री आलोक कुमार राय, कुलपति लखनऊ विश्वविद्यालय, हमारे दृष्टिकोण को सशक्त करें, अपनी राय रखें नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 पर। सर।
थैंक यू वेरी मच आकाश, थैंक यू वेरी मच। दृष्टिकोण को नहीं, दृष्टिकोण को सशक्त नहीं करना है, दृष्टि पर कुछ और रोशनी डालने का प्रयास मैं जरूर करूंगा। टू स्टार्ट विथ, मोस्ट रिस्पेक्टेड चीफ गेस्ट ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम, ऑनरेबल डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब, distinguished speaker of the program, Sri V.K. Shahi Sahab, Additional Advocate General, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Professor Bhatnagar, Dr. Manoj Kumar ji, and to all the viewers who are watching this program. After 32 years, we again got a new national education policy, which is being touted as one policy statement that is going to change the landscape of Indian education for a lot of time and for a considerable duration of time. So at this occasion, when we are sitting and discussing, I believe I'll divide my views in two parts. One is what I see and how I see this policy document to be as, and second is, of course, the issues that needs to be looked into at the time of implementation of this policy document. Of course, this policy document is extremely expansive, extremely huge, and finding out something very, very meaningful from the program is in itself kind of a doctoral research material. So one certainly has to do a lot of research to find out what specifically does this national education policy contains. I term it as a LIFE model. When I say LIFE, I mean L-I-F-E-S. So this LIFE model are 5 points that I could find out from this new national education policy. First, I say is this new national education policy is not just a policy that talks about education, but it also talks about life coaching. Now, why do I say this? Because this policy does not specifically concentrate only onto the curriculum or the teaching component of the education, but it talks of how holistic development of the student can be aimed at and can be attained. I remember a line that when University Grants Commission held a program in which Honorable Prime Minister had participated, he said this policy document talks about how people can be taken from Manuj to Manavata, that is, from singular to plural. How can a person upscale? This is what this policy document is. And second is being grounded into the strength of the nation and its culture, how modernity can be imbibed. So what Honorable Prime Minister says is Atit se Adunikta ki or, this national policy document can take our students towards. So this is a policy document that does not only talks about academics, teaching, but it talks of a life coaching. It states the life coaching in ingredients. Second, very, very important component of this national education policy is about internationalization. You know, at the time when in Government of India, and more specifically our Honorable Prime Minister talks about not just bringing in international institutions to India, but also letting Indian institutions go international. Bringing in international students to Indian educational system, we essentially require two things. One is internationalization of Indian education, because it is the internationalization of Indian education that will take Indian institution also go international. Because ultimately the acceptance of any institution has got to be from the clientele, from the target market. So if University of Lucknow wants to open a campus in, say, Germany or France or England, it is possible only when we get students there. And it is possible only when our education is accepted there. So this policy document provides several initiatives that may make Indian education and subsequently Indian institutions, higher educational institutions, international. Like, for example, a lot of things. Our undergraduate program, we have had this 10 plus 2 plus 3 model. While outside, what we found was that the graduation has been of 4 years. So we have got to get in sync with what are the international prevailing practices. This internationalization is one important issue that Indian educational institutions have been confronting with, and time has come when we need not be concentrated upon only to these strengths that we ourselves only keep boasting about. I'll share a small instance. When this corona lockdown started coming in, ours is a 100 years old institution and pretty traditional institution, largely into traditional programs. When we started talking about that we are going to go online for our students, there had been a very, very obvious hiccup in the system. Today, we have got all our departments with their own YouTube channel. Majority of faculty members place their e-content. We place those e-contents on our website, and many students, it was not only the students of Lucknow, but many students from our colleges and also from different parts of the country started accessing. I'll cite one example. One of the professors from geology, we have got a department of geology, where along with some colleges, we only have 150 students. His YouTube lecture views are in excess to 5,000. And he also receives comments from students from abroad. What we did was, instead of going and opting for a close-ended learning management system, we opted for an open access model where we place the content on our website. And I'm happy to share that in a span of say 7 months, our website hit got 1 crore 35 lakh hits. So it was because we could provide education to different sections of society. And this is how we are gradually trying to place our strength, which is our academics, our teaching, our teachers at international forum. And this new education policy is certainly going to help us in that endeavor. Also, in this context, I would like to draw the attention of the audience that, Indian educational institutions have since long been struggling to find a place in international rankings. The world's most coveted ranking system, which is Times Higher Education World University Ranking, recently got published. And despite several attempts made for several years by several governments, even today, not a single educational institution, university, could figure in that rank. The first position was obtained by Indian Institute of Science, and that was also not ranked, but was graded, because till 300 they provide a rank, and after 300 they only provide a bracket. But this year, 63 of our higher educational institutions, that is universities, could find a place. And I should say that Lucknow University was also fortunate to make its maiden entry to that Times Higher Education World University Ranking. So there are 13 more institutions from last year could find a place in that, in this year's Times Higher Education Ranking. So there is a growing tendency, increasing awareness also, and increasing tendency of higher educational institutions that are there in India. They are trying to break that barrier and trying to find a place at the international arena. Another third important aspect of this new education policy. So as I said, it's a life model. So after life coaching and internationalization, third is the flexibility that it offers. See, I would cite an instance. Last week, a student came along with his father and said, "Sir, I'll not be able to appear in this year's examination." I said, "Why?" "Because he said, I have completed 2 years of my graduation, but for in third year, there was certain disciplinary action and I was barred from this. I referred his case to my chief proctor and also to Dean of Student Welfare. They both came to me and said, we cannot help it because it's a disciplinary issue. And I knew, and the student and his son, his father, they both were like pleading before me that it is because of one bad incident, all 3 years I lose. I wanted to help him, but I could not help. It was only because this new education policy was not there. Had such policy been there, say after 1 year you get diploma, after 2 years you get advanced diploma, after 3 years you get your graduation degree. Now, if something bad happens in third year, all your 3 years goes in vain. Besides, flexibility of say interdepartmental credit transfer, intra-departmental credit transfer, which we have already provided in our system in last month, Academic Council. So this flexibility is going to change Indian higher educational landscape in a big way. And this is where the role of multidisciplinary institutions are coming up in a big way. Fourth, I talk about the employability, which is a huge issue. Now, I'm not referring to employment or employment rate. I'm referring to employability of Indian professionals. You know, there have been several studies conducted by either governmental bodies or even private bodies. They have been talking about the unemployability of Indian youth. And the statistics ranges from 63% to 85%. I mean, out of 100 students who come out of these professional educational institutions, including law, management, engineering, and other institutions, almost 2/3 people are unemployable. In certain cases, 3/4 students are unemployable. This policy document tries to address that in a big way and tries to correct that. It tries to link this with the employment prospect and also addresses the limitation in terms of intellect or resource, also by providing skill-based learning. And last but not the least, and which in my opinion is actually a landmark aspect of this policy document, and that is the structural change that it talks about. This policy talks about that there should be 3 categories of institutions. One is, let there be universities, which should be research-based institutions. Second is, let there be universities, multidisciplinary universities who teach good number of students. Good number of students, I mean, they don't specify a number, but then we mean, as we see abroad, we find a university teaching 100,000 on-campus students. And third is not small colleges, but big colleges, which are autonomous and they are free from the clutches of these affiliation business, so that they can concentrate more on the academics. Now, here, this is actually an attempt to let the university focus on high quality teaching, superior research, and greater extension, and let colleges concentrate merely onto the teaching aspect of it. This policy document actually aims at some of the crucial issues that universities, especially state universities, are confronted with. You know, I'm a professor at a central university and I'm a vice chancellor of a state university, and I've got a feel of both. And I can say this for sure, that there are certain challenges that this institution tries to address. And this is that almost 90% of higher educational institution students fall within the bracket of these state universities. And these state universities have got their own typical traditional problems. And majority of these state universities have been reduced to be a mere education board, examination board, which actually is not the purpose of university. And this is what this policy document very, very subtly and at places very, very explicitly addresses. So I believe this is one aspect that this institution talks of. Honorable Prime Minister in last week's governors conference has been very categorical when he said that the autonomy of these institutions shall be linked to the performance of these institutions. And this is an extremely welcome step and I can say this as an administrator of a state-run university, where at least academic autonomy is sought for, and that will be again a landmark approach. Mentoring, institutional mentoring is one thing that this policy document talks of. So let a bigger institution mentor a relatively smaller institution, and that institution mentor this very small institution. So this will create a kind of satellite distribution system, where this satellite distribution system will ultimately be having some body, some shoulder to rely on to get guidance and mentoring from in case of crisis. So I believe I second what Honorable Deputy CM Saab has said, that this document is actually a path-breaking one and going to change the history of Indian higher educational institutions' fate for at least a foreseeable future. Thank you, Professor Bhatnagar. Thank you, Dr. Manoj Kumar ji. Thank you, Chauhan, Akash Raj Chauhan, the coordinator, for providing me a platform to share my views. Thank you very, very much.
सर, मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं और आपका बहुत बहुत आभार। आपने अपने विचार राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 पर हमारे समक्ष रखें। और सर, जैसा कि आपने शुरू में कहा था, आपने सही मायने में हमारी दिशा